Well, hello, Diet Disruptors. Look, I have Coach Deb here with me.
Hi,
Happy Valentine's Day. Yes. So, Deb, it has been way too long since you've been on our show.
Agreed.
Oh, we're gonna have to change that. Well, let me just introduce you guys to Deb, because at some point, Deb, we need you on just telling your story. She has an amazing story, but Deb is also our head coach. Deb works with clients all the time at Disruptive Nutrition and coaches our coaches. She has more certifications than I do, you guys. Like this, what I love about our Disruptive Nutrition coaching family is just how qualified everybody is. And Deb is really just incredible. So if you know Deb or have worked with Deb, let's shout her out. Say hello to Deb in the comments. I'm so excited that you're here. And Deb is wearing red for Valentine's Day, and I wear my just regular black. What does that say? But Deb, we are going to talk about, I think this is a perfect topic for Valentine's Day, because we are going to talk about your body's love language. Mm-hmm. And let's be honest, Deb is the one that coined our entire approach as your body's love language. Do you remember when you did that? What was going on in your life when you did that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I was actually going through some, personal turmoil and things like that. And so I was actually reading the book, The 5 Love Languages. And as I was thinking about the love languages and thinking about relationships and reflecting just on relationships in general, I started to think about what we do and what we teach people. And I was like, wait a minute. When you always say, when we're, eating right, we're doing right by our body, when we're eating PFC every 3. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? When we are eating a protein, fat, and a carb every 3 hours, right? We are feeding our body the way it's meant to be fed. And therefore we are showing our body love. And that is our body's love language, because when we are doing right by our body will do for us. And so that was kind of like what was going on.
And it has like wildfire. I say it all the time. I was speaking last month in Vegas, and I told thousands of people about it. So Deb, thank you for that. I think that's incredible. And so I want to tell you guys about Yvonnes, because I just talked to Yvonnes, and she is amazing. I was texting you after my call with her because she's 68 years old and is just extremely worried about her health, her weight. I mean, she's done all of the things and she wants to live her best life. She's 68. She still has time. And after talking to Yvonnes for 1 month, 4 weeks in, she told me, she goes, Carrie, oh my gosh. First of all, she's down one size, a whole size. She has never been able to lose weight. Like, it's always this yo-yo thing. She's eating more than she ever has. People are coming up to her and saying, have you lost weight? In 1 month. But here's the biggest things. She is climbing up the stairs to her house, which she had massive joint and body pain. She said faster than she's ever done it before. And her energy is through the roof. So I said to her, if this isn't your body's love language, what is? And she was so excited. She's like, I just can't imagine what it's going to be like, another month from now, another 6 months from now. So if you are listening, right, whether you're on replay, I want you to put hashtag replay. If you are listening live, put hashtag live, and we can see you or hear from you and talk to you. So we're going to talk about this, but let's be real. Like, so many people have this whole goal of losing weight. And we just came off January. We were so busy in January, right? Because we're all in this, like, let's do this. The problem is the way that we're being taught how to lose weight is not actually speaking our body's love language. It's not. And in fact, Yvonnes was just telling me that she had a piece of cheesecake after she had done 4 weeks to wellness, and she had a piece of cheesecake. She said she was actually physically sick. Yeah. Physically sick. She's like, I was able to have cheesecake before. What happened? And I'm like, now your body's able to talk to you. It had that callus that it was like building up and it couldn't communicate with you. And now it can. So when we are looking for diets, though, Deb, like, why is it that is not our body's love language? And when we say diets, I mean keto, fasting, counting calories, tracking things in an app, you name it, right? Like, there's a million of them, Optavia, Noom. Don't let any of them fool you. They're all diets.
Yep,
right?
they are all
So
diets.
Deb,
And
talk to us about why that's not our body's love language.
so those are not our body's love language because we actually need all three macronutrients. We need a protein, we need carbohydrates, and we need fat. And most of us actually either have a very carb heavy diet, meaning like we think we're doing things that are healthy. For example, eating oatmeal for breakfast is like, we're told that it's really important for us to eat a healthy breakfast, and a healthy breakfast will, keep you going throughout the day. But what it's actually doing, if you're just having oatmeal or just having cereal, is you are causing a blood sugar spike. And when your blood sugar spikes, your body then releases insulin. When it releases insulin, it's trying to lower your blood sugar levels. And by doing that, being on this constant, what we call blood sugar roller coaster, that's when we experience the cravings. That's why we feel like sometimes that we can't control our hunger or our cravings, but really it's your body's like physiological response to not having what it needs. So when you're counting calories and cutting things out and not giving your body what it needs, your body is going to get those nutrients from one of two places, either through food or it's going to essentially cannibalize itself, right? So it's going to pull nutrients from its muscles. And I know that that sounds horrible, but that's what it does. Guys, we don't want to lose lean muscle mass. That's where our fat is actually burned, is in that lean muscle mass. And as we age, we're already losing muscle mass. So we want to do everything we can to preserve the muscle mass, but also feed our central nervous system, feed our brain. And what our brain and central nervous system needs is carbohydrates. Women need carbohydrates at all phases of their life. And even Yvonne at 68, she's eating carbohydrates now. She's serving her body. And we really need to make sure that we're doing that, as opposed to constantly putting ourselves on the blood sugar roller coaster, which quite honestly, blood sugar, or what they call dysregulated blood sugar, is actually the cause of many of the underlying health conditions that people have these days: diabetes, dementia. That's dysregulated blood sugar is causing problems for us. And so we really need to take control of our own health, make decisions for ourselves, really educate ourselves on blood sugar stabilization and understand what it does. A lot of times people are like, oh, well, that's just for people who have diabetes. No, it's not. It's for everybody. Think about it. When we were babies, or if you're a mom, a parent, you feed your children in regular intervals, right? And somehow we got away from doing that. And we really need to go back to doing that, because that's when our body is the happiest. When our body is at our optimal health, that's when we get to our optimal weight. And having stable blood sugar is going to help everybody get to their optimal health. And honestly, that's really what we want.
I love it, because like our blood pumps through our heart, and it's Valentine's Day. So we're digging into this. So this is the thing, when we are, and when we are, let's just look at it this way. Mm-hmm. Our body knows what it's doing. Our body knows what it's doing better than we are. When we try to force our body to get the weight off, instead of working with our body with what it actually needs, then it will absolutely be unable to get you to where you want to go. Because when your body is stressed, which means you are forcing it into something, then it does certain things to protect itself from you. Blood sugar goes all off whack, but you also produce fat cells. And here's a crazy fact. Once you produce a fat cell, which is your body's way of protecting yourself, loving on you, you can never lose a fat cell. Now, we can shed fat, but we can't lose the cells. So when the more fat cells that we're producing, the easier it is to gain weight. So if you have ever, lost weight on a diet and then gained it all back, and then did another diet and then gained it all back, and then went on this roller coaster, then that is exactly what's happening. You're producing fat cells, and then it's much easier to be able to then re-trigger them. So Dr. Casey Means is a Stanford trained physician. There is so much research on honestly, you guys, we just need to know the science of our own biology and recognize the diet industry is not actually out to help us get healthier. The food industry is not out to get us healthier. Healthcare system is not out to get us healthier.
No, it's not.
I don't know if people realize this, but here's the thing. We're actually facing a pandemic that's actually way worse than where we are with COVID. In fact, more people are dying from metabolic diseases. It's the leading driver of mortality, way more than COVID. Let me tell you what a metabolic disease is. Poor metabolic health is due to an imbalance of blood sugar. It actually impacts today 9 out of 10 people. Blood sugar is the root cause of almost every single thing that causes us to suffer as we get older. I'm going to say that again. Blood sugar is the root cause of almost every single thing that causes us to suffer as we get older. Heart disease, like Deb said, cancer, diabetes, dementia, kidney failure, obesity, high cholesterol. I recently read a study that 50% of people go on a diet every single year. 72% of people are obese and at risk for massive health disease, massive diseases. The CDC just recently released that the majority of people that died from COVID had one of those
comorbidities,
metabolic health issues. So if 72% of people are obese and at risk, and 50% of people are going on a diet, that means a lot of people are trying to get healthy.
Yes.
It's not working. We're getting more and more sick. We have better medication. We have better science, but we're failing so badly because we're not looking at the root cause of the problem. And the root cause of the problem is blood sugar stabilization. Dr. Casey Means actually said, we need to keep our blood sugar in a stable and healthy range throughout our lifetime. And we have the power to do that ourselves. I mean, and we know what it is. It isn't just eating.
No, it's not.
And we joke that PFC is our body's love language, but our approach, our entire approach will balance your blood sugar, whether it's food, and that's the first thing we teach, but exercise, sleep, stress, hydration, gut health, making sure we have the right supplementation to be able to fill the gaps that food can't do.
And spinning plates that you always talk about. I mean, that's it. Like, that's so important.
We have to recognize, and Dr. Means always talks about the fact that we're working so hard. If you've been working at this for what, 10, 20, 30 years, write in the comments, how many years have you been fighting your weight? How many years? Because everybody that we're working with is not fighting their body anymore. They're working with it. They're speaking their body's love language. But what Dr. Means talks about in her studies is that our effort and the outcome, there's a mismatch. And we have to get the effort can actually get reduced and the outcome can go higher. We just have to understand we can't be reliant to outsource our judgment for ourselves. We like I said, the food production industry, the healthcare industry, 80%, maybe even 90% of our health does not happen in the doctor's office. It happens in your kitchen. It happens where you live, happens in your grocery stores. We believe we go to the doctor to get fixed. It won't work that way. So if anything else, it's like, we want you to love on your body the way it wants to love on you. And that's what this whole approach is. So Deb, let's dig into a bit of the food piece, because there's so much research on how to balance our blood sugar. Now we know, and you can Google like high glycemic foods, which makes it feel like we can't eat certain foods. Well, there are definitely certain foods that have a lower glycemic index. But regardless of that, we know that combining foods, like you mentioned, is a huge, huge factor in blood sugar stabilization. So let's talk a little bit about that. We call it PFC every 3. Let's talk a little bit about what that means.
So basically, when you're eating a protein and a carbohydrate together, you are actually balancing your hormones within your bloodstream. So you have 2 of them, insulin and glucagon, and you want them to be within a balance. And that's when you're going to get what we call like these nice little, I don't even know what you want to call it, but you get nice little like blips on the, on a screen.
I picture it like water boiling in a pot, like just that nice little boil. And how you know it's working is actually you're like, every 3 to 4 hours, you're ready to eat, satisfied, ready. You're not starving and you're not full.
Correct.
But that can happen without the right combination of foods. And so we got to make sure we have the right combinations of foods, because you might feel that way, but your blood sugar still isn't quite balanced.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, like what you were talking about with the glycemic index, like we also need to be thinking about like what is actually in the foods that we're having too, because there are lots of foods that actually have like these underlying hidden effects. Even if they're not impacting our blood sugar, they are having, you know, impacts that way. Like fructose, for example, like fructose, not fructose that's in natural fruit, like natural fructose is fine, but the fructose that they have, like high fructose corn syrup, and other types of sweeteners that they're using in a lot of the processed foods, those actually don't have an impact on our blood sugar, but they do have an impact on other things, which can impact our overall weight, our overall health, and our overall weight. But when you're eating whole foods, you know, like chicken, broccoli, nuts, apple, right? We don't want to just have what some people call like naked carbs, right? Or we want to have carbs, and we think we're doing great if we're having an apple. I remember, you know, you always give that example of like an apple or pizza with chicken. We all think like, oh, well, the apple because it's healthy, but it's really the pizza with chicken because there's more balance in there. When we're balancing out that carbohydrate with a protein and a fat, and we also want to make sure that there's some fiber in there too. And a lot of our carbohydrates, especially if we're eating fruits and vegetables, we're going to be getting a lot of fiber. That's going to really help us to stabilize our blood sugar. And all of those things are really going to help us get to our best health, and our body's going to be happy.
It's so amazing. So here's what I think we do when we're thinking about, people aren't really thinking about getting healthy. They're thinking about losing weight.
Correct.
Right? And here's the number one mistake people make. When you focus on weight loss instead of health, then you are going to be fighting your body. You are literally going to be in a relationship with your body where you're speaking different languages and different wavelengths and actually sabotaging your entire progress. So your body is actually the correct weight based on the signals you send it. So if you are, you know that you are at like your heaviest, or you are feeling like you don't have any energy, whatever, and you need to lose a lot of weight, understand that your body adjusts to the signals you send it. So when you try to fight it, like we were saying, your body's going to correct itself eventually. Now, people may lose weight a little at first, and then people think, well, look, I'm losing weight at first, right? But what I always talk, like, I like the analogy of a slingshot. If you pull a slingshot back, it's going to go back for a while, but eventually it's not going to anymore. And it's going to go boom.
Fine.
That's what happens when you're not doing health first and you're focusing on weight loss first, because your body is going to respond to the lower intake of food, but it's not doing it in the right way. And you know how we know that? Have you ever seen anybody lose a lot of weight and they kind of look sickly?
Yeah, like that sallow look or whatever.
Yes. That is because in all reality, there's different types of fat in our body. And there's fat that we need. And then there's inflammatory fat that we don't need. Your body has the inflammatory fat as a way to protect itself from you. And if you start losing weight the wrong way, it's going to hold on to your inflammatory fat, and you're actually going to start to lose the fat that you actually need. So when you see people losing weight in the right way, the way of blood sugar stabilization, they look lean and strong and glowing, and they don't look like, I've heard a lot of people, especially people that go through gastric bypass, where people are like, oh, it almost makes them look older.
Yes.
Losing weight should not make you look older. That is a sign that you're not speaking your body's love language. You're on that slingshot, and eventually, guys, boom. And you're going to gain the weight back plus more. And your body is going to be screaming at you, basically saying, you are not healthy. Isn't that, it's amazing, isn't it?
Our body's an absolutely amazing thing. I mean, just when you think about the signals that it sends us, it's telling us exactly what it needs. We just need to start listening and speaking its love language. And when we love our body, it is going to love us back. It's like any type of great relationship. When you understand and can speak your partner's love language, even if it's not your love language, right? You might have a different love language from somebody else than your partner. But when you can communicate in a way with each other that shows that person the love, that shows that person, you respect them and care for them, and you want to do things for them, you get that in return. Right. And so
Yes.
that's what it is with PFC
I
too.
know. My love language is quality time. My husband is words of affirmation. So I know I have to speak to him in a certain way to feel loved, and he has to hang out with me, right? Like that's how we know that the other one is talking to them in their love language. But here's what, like, I really want to say to just piggyback on that and just kind of end with this thinking around relationship, the relationship with you and your body. Any relationship, any marriage, if you're celebrating Valentine's Day with a significant other that you've been with for a long time, it has to be because it's based on trust.
Yes.
No relationship will ever last if there is no trust. It might go for a little while, but at the end of the day, it won't last forever. And so trust is built. And if you guys got this, you could even put it in the comments, because when you rewrite it, you understand it more. Trust is the result of positive interactions consistently over time. When your body starts to trust you, and that relationship between you and your body starts to be established as one that is trusting, like, I'm going to show up for you the way you need me to, just like I do for my marriage. If I showed up super, super high and super, super low, they wouldn't be trusting how I'm coming home. Right. And so here's the number one key to building a trusting relationship. How you lose the weight has to be how you maintain it.
Yes.
So choose wisely, because if you're doing keto, I hope you're ready to never have a quesadilla again for the rest of your life. If you're doing Optavia, I hope you're willing to spend money on horrible prepackaged food for the rest of your life. If you are doing something that it requires a boatload of supplements, I hope you can afford to do it, because the fundamental law of your body is that your metabolism expects you to maintain the method with which you're losing weight. And if you don't, the weight returns quicker. The problem is, with the way that you're doing it, your body won't allow you to do it forever, because your body is going to start to revolt. So you have to choose a method that your body can do forever. And blood sugar stabilization is the root of all of what we need. We know it's the cause of all of these metabolic diseases. And we know that when you are born, from the moment you are born to the moment you die, if your blood sugar is off, you can't function. And we know that because when we're hangry, you can't do anything. And that is a signal that your blood sugar is off.
Yeah.
So I feel like we gave some science in here, but relationship advice
Right?
for you and your body. And I want you to be married to your body forever so that this relationship goes on. So if you've gotten nothing else out of this, I hope that you understand your body's love language is being able to have blood sugar stabilized. And if you don't understand how to do it and do it right and well, you are putting yourself not just at risk for gaining weight, but at risk for massive diseases. And I am sorry, but I think our job on earth as a parent is to raise independent adults. And I'm going to make a difference in my family's tree, because I am going to teach them how they can live the best life ever. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with knowledge. And nobody can take that away once you learn it.
Yep. Yes.
Amen.
Yep, exactly.
So I hope that this was compelling to you guys, and that Deb's red shirt just inspires you. And I hope you can see, like, we know what we're doing, you guys, and we're passionate about it. And we don't want you to go around the mountain anymore, because it will severely impact your life even one more day that you keep riding this blood sugar roller coaster. Yeah. So that is why Deb is one of them. And my coaches who are highly trained will get on a phone call with you for free and talk to you about this, answer your questions, figure out a plan that's going to work for you. And that to me is a gift. Like, take advantage of it. Yep. So we'll put a link in to be able to do a call, and for you to be able to really get a sense of what your body needs. It will change everything for you and your family. Yes. Deb, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Put in happy Valentine's Day in the chat. And please make sure you go and decide, okay, this is it. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to give myself this Valentine's gift. I'm going to book a call right now.
Yep. Go. Best gift is the gift of health.
Nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. And we eat all the time, so we're always super satisfied. In fact, I'm going to have to eat now. It's about time. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yep. You can feel it coming.
So I'm going to go do that. All right, Deb, thank you so much. We will talk.